Welcome to the High Road Training Partnership WIOA 3.0 orientation. This presentation has been pre-recorded and is available on the HRTP grantee portal to review at any time. The question and answer portion will be conducted via email. Please send your questions to the HRTP inbox at hrtp@cwdb.ca.gov. This orientation training is designed to provide a general overview of the HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant expectations. We strongly encourage all grantees to thoroughly review the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide after this training, as it is a more comprehensive resource for awardee subrecipients, highlighting key grant expectations and requirements. Today's orientation will cover the following topics: communicating with the CWDB, grant administration, awardee subrecipient roles and responsibilities, specific points of contact, general grant information, project modifications, reporting requirements, key differences between this WIOA grant program and existing HRTP state-funded grant programs, upcoming trainings, tools and resources, and directions for submitting a self-attestation form verifying you participated in this orientation. Communicating with the CWDB and points of contact. The CWDB is the primary point of contact on behalf of the state of California and oversees all programmatic aspects of the HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant program. We will introduce the High Road Training Partnership team and who you will be working with throughout the grant term. The CWDB is responsible for managing the HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant and is the main point of contact for questions or concerns. The CWDB High Road Training Partnership team consists of three main branches. The Program Implementation Branch has two program analysts, Tila Lear and Haley Walsh, Program Manager Allison Tans, and Branch Manager Danielle Viena. The High Road Field Branch has four field specialists, Rafael Aguilera, Tonya Burke, Mark Cohen, and Nicholas Esquivel, Branch Manager Sandra Hamame, and Deputy Director Aida Cardenas. The Policy, Legislation, and Research Branch has one High Road Research Data Specialist, Paige Mustang. Together, these three branches work collaboratively to manage HRTP grant programs and provide guidance and support to awardees. The program team supports grant administration and is responsible for the management of the subgrant agreement. Examples of issues that the CWDB program branch can assist with include budget and fiscal reporting questions, project development and implementation guidance, CalJobs technical assistance, reporting requirements, and project modifications and amendments. Field specialists serve as subject matter experts and are available to provide ongoing project support. They collaborate with projects and partners to identify HRTP best practices, collect qualitative data to inform and advance essential High Road elements, engage project partners in learning and development opportunities, including communities of practice, networking events, and other knowledge-sharing forums. Although the EDD does not manage this grant program, they are involved in all CWDB WIOA grant-funded programs, providing select administrative support in the following areas: the setup, execution, and amending of subgrant agreements, expenditure reporting, annual compliance monitoring, and fiscal closeout functions of the grant. The best way to reach the CWDB with questions is to send an email through the HRTP inbox at hrtp@cwdb.ca.gov. This is a shared inbox that is monitored daily and will ensure your questions are triaged to the right individual within the program, data, or field branch.
In the next section, we will cover grant administration. Grant administration is handled by the program branch, primarily Tila, Haley, and Allison. Questions that fall under the program branch grant administration support include reporting requirements, CalJobs technical assistance, access, data change requests, and inactivation, budget and fiscal reporting questions, including allowable uses of funding, course corrections, adjustments, modifications, amendments, and project development and implementation guidance. Although the EDD does not manage this grant program, they are involved in all CWDB WIOA-funded grant programs providing select administrative support. While the CWDB remains the main point of contact for awardee subrecipients, there will be times that awardees will be contacted by the EDD directly. The EDD provides the following administrative support. The EDD Financial Management Unit oversees the subgrant agreement process and may reach out directly to awardee subrecipients with required paperwork or to share executed documents. The EDD Financial Management Unit oversees fiscal reporting in the CalJobs system and may reach out directly if quarterly expenditure reports are not submitted on time. The EDD Compliance Review Office oversees annual monitoring following a similar protocol as WIOA Title I monitoring and will reach out directly to initiate and provide instruction on this process. The EDD Financial Management Unit oversees fiscal closeout at the end of the grant term and will reach out directly to initiate and provide instructions on this process. And finally, the EDD provides CalJobs technical assistance. The CWDB is often CC'd on correspondence from the EDD to awardee subrecipients. However, if you receive a communication directly from the EDD that you are not sure about, please contact the program team via the HRTP inbox and we can assist. All communication regarding grant administration should be routed through the HRTP inbox at hrtp@cwdb.ca.gov. This is a shared inbox that is monitored daily. When reaching out, be sure to include the grant program and cohort name in the subject line, as well as the topic of the question. We want to emphasize the importance of specifying the grant program in all email correspondence so that questions related to HRTP WIOA 3.0 funding are not confused with questions related to other HRTP programs. Many questions regarding grant administration can be answered by utilizing the resources found on the HRTP grantee portal. This is a private webpage that is password protected and should only be accessed by HRTP grantees. The program team will send out email notifications to project leads when updates and/or changes are made to existing documents or when new documents and resources are added to the portal. This next section will go over the expectations and requirements of the awardee subrecipient. The term awardee subrecipient refers to the awarded agency that enters into an agreement with the state of California. The standalone term subrecipient refers to the agency or agencies selected by the awardee subrecipient to carry out the program. The awardee subrecipient must be attentive and responsive to all communication with the CWDB. This means being proactive and communicating project challenges as they arise, as well as providing timely communication responses to CWDB staff. It is the responsibility of the awardee subrecipient to run and operate a WIOA-compliant grant program. WIOA law is 298 pages and contains guidance within it. The Code of Federal Regulations, Title II, Uniform Guidance, are the fiscal rules set forth by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. Resources for these will be provided in the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide. The awardee subrecipient must also adhere to all EDD's Workforce Service Branch directives and information notices. These are subject to change at any time. It is recommended to sign up for email notification alerts through EDD's website so you stay informed of these changes. The awardee subrecipient is responsible for deliverables to the CWDB. The awardee subrecipient must be compliant with monitoring and audits conducted by the EDD. The EDD's Compliance Review Office has informed the CWDB that monitoring will happen, and therefore we would like to emphasize the importance of following all federal and state spending guidelines and adhering to all applicable record retention rules. Record retention is mandatory, and monitoring may occur past the end of the grant term. Additionally, there is potential for the Department of Labor to monitor these subgrants. Awardee subrecipients must have the ability to develop and implement local agency policies anytime it is required by WIOA law or EDD Workforce Services Branch directives. If your project is serving participants, diligent case management is required. This involves maintaining secure records which protect participants' personally identifiable information, ensuring accurate, timely record keeping, utilizing the CalJobs participant database. Awardee subrecipients who receive more than $750,000 in federal funds annually must maintain a single audit on file with the Audit Clearinghouse. The awardee subrecipient is also responsible for timely CalJobs participant reporting if your project is serving participants, monthly CalJobs fiscal expenditure reporting, quarterly narrative reporting, and periodic reviews and information requests from CWDB staff. Failure to meet deadlines and/or submit quality reports may result in cash holds and potential deobligation of funds. Subrecipients who are entering into contracts with awardee subrecipients are expected to participate in monitoring and will be held to the same standards as the awardee subrecipient. The awardee subrecipient will be responsible for all findings of the subrecipient. The next section will review how to designate your agency staff members as the specific points of contact for various aspects of project management. These specific points of contact form, often referred to as the SPOC form, is used to ensure that CWDB staff are reaching out to the appropriate project contacts. This form should be up to date at all times and will be up to the awardee subrecipient to notify the CWDB when there are changes in staff and points of contact. You can make changes to this form at any time. If you need to do this, email the HRTP inbox for assistance or submit an updated SPOC form. The SPOC form has 5 areas where staff can be listed. Please keep in mind that you are not limited to listing a single staff member. You may list multiple staff in each area, and some staff may be listed across several sections. The individuals identified in the program lead is the key individual the CWDB will be reaching out to and initiating conversations with. Please keep in mind that we encourage you to update the SPOC form if contacts change for any section throughout the term. Updating the SPOC form ensures we are always reaching out to the correct individuals. The reporting section identifies who quarterly narrative report templates, requests for information, and follow-up questions will be sent to. The fiscal section is who will be submitting fiscal expenditure reports and who should be responsive to budget and fiscal questions. The CalJobs section is for staff responsible for data entry and utilizing the CalJobs system throughout the grant term. Once you go through the CalJobs training and the data guide, you may need to rethink who will be responsible for this. A lot of time we see individuals outlined who don't have the capacity to devote time daily to this, and once they see what it entails, they need to rethink project structure and roles, and even do a budget modification to bring on additional staff. We'll be touching base with everyone in May after the data trainings have taken place to see where this stands, but wanted to put it in everyone's minds now, especially those that are new to our grants. And finally, the information sharing category allows you to list various individuals who should be included on networking and event invites related to high road initiatives.
General grant information. The HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant is a 24-month grant term from April 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2024. There will be no possibility of extending this grant term. Subgrant setup and accessing funds. 10% of your total grant award is available for immediate use right now. The remaining 90% of your funds will be available when all of the subgrant exhibits are approved. You will receive notification when this step is complete and full funding is available to you. As previously discussed, the EDD oversees the subgrant execution process. You should have already received notification from the EDD Fiscal Management Unit to set up your subgrant agreement. If you do not think you have heard from the EDD regarding this step, please reach out to the HRTP inbox so the CWDB can follow up with the EDD. The subgrant execution process also involves the EDD Fiscal Management Unit setting up CalJobs user registration. This fiscal CalJobs access will use different login credentials than what are used to input CalJobs participant data. Ensure that all staff submitting expenditures for your project are included on the form sent by EDD and that this is returned to the FMU by the due date along with all other required documents. All grant funding is accessed through the CalJobs fiscal system. This grant program operates through a cash drawdown system to pay for expenditures incurred against a subgrant. Awardee subrecipients have the ability to access cash as needed by submitting a cash request in advance of spending. The awardee subrecipient will be able to select their preferred payment delivery method, with the most common being direct deposit or a check via the USPS. Project modifications. This section will briefly review the steps necessary for initiating a modification request. The first step to initiate a project modification is to submit a subgrant modification approval form to the HRTP inbox for the CWDB program team to review. The program team will provide guidance on next steps. Modification requests are not approved until the awardee subrecipient has received correspondence from the CWDB confirming the approval. For additional guidance regarding project modification requests, please review the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide, which provides step-by-step directions. On the screen, we have an example of page 1 of the Subgrant Modification Approval Form. This form looks very similar to the contract amendment form utilized for state-funded HRTP grant modification requests. Please ensure you are using the correct modification approval form by looking for the words WIOA-funded projects at the top of the form. On the screen, we have an example of page 2 of the Subgrant Modification Approval Form. Again, please ensure you are using the correct modification approval form by looking for the words WIOA-funded projects at the top of the form. Reasons for modifications can vary and include changes to the scope of work, budget, partners, participants served, or other categories not already listed. If you are uncertain if your project requires a modification, please reach out to the HRTP inbox and the program team can provide guidance.
In this section, we will review reporting requirements. Quarterly narrative reports, often referred to as Q&Rs, capture and communicate important qualitative and quantitative data that are used to share best practices, highlight project successes, and elevate broad workforce barriers and obstacles. It is your opportunity to tell the story of what's happening in your project. Responses should be detailed and thorough and speak to activities and outcomes that align with your approved project exhibits. Quarterly narrative reports also provide an opportunity for the CWDB to verify CalJobs data matches the self-reported data. Supplemental reports may be included with quarterly narrative reports requests to help capture data that is not being reported through CalJobs. A common example is a supplemental Cal EnviroScreen report, which helps capture census tract information. Reporting periods and deadlines are outlined in the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide and will be communicated by the CWD program team via email when report templates are sent out. It is the awardee subrecipient's responsibility to comply with all quarterly narrative report deadlines. Failure to submit reports in a timely manner can result in cash holds and even the deobligation of funds. All projects serving participants must track participant data in CalJobs. Participant data tracking includes enrollment and case management through the grant term. This can be labor-intensive, and it is ideal to have specific staff assigned to oversee this. CalJobs training resources can be found on the HRTP portal, and we will have a 2-day training session the week of April 25th. Details for registering for this training session will be sent out via email. Additionally, the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Program Measures and Data Collection Guide provides step-by-step directions for CalJobs data entry. There will be a separate data guide training and question and answer, which will go over this document in detail and provide opportunity for awardee subrecipients to ask questions. Fiscal expenditure reporting. In this section, we will cover the fiscal expenditure reporting requirements through CalJobs. There are some key differences between this fiscal expenditure reporting process and the invoicing process that some are familiar with for state-funded HRTP programs. This grant program will operate on a cash drawdown system, and grantees will have immediate access to funds. It will be reconciled monthly in alignment with funds pooled and the budget in your subgrant agreement. All of this will be done through the CalJobs fiscal system. This is not a reimbursement grant, and there will be no invoicing. Similar to previous grants, expenditure reports must be submitted monthly by the 20th of the month following the end of each reporting period. These expenditure reports will be submitted through CalJobs. Late or incomplete filing of monthly and quarterly expenditure reports may result in a cash hold. The EDD may automatically reach out to address late expenditure reports via auto-generated reminders. All expenditures must be reported as cumulative. We are emphasizing this because it is a common error to only report individual monthly spending, which will result in the EDD flagging your reports. Expenditure reports are due monthly, including months where zero funding was spent. One-to-one match leverage funds must also be reported cumulatively on your expenditure reports. While match was not a requirement for this particular grant, the awardee subrecipient is required to report match leverage dollars if match is listed on their approved subgrant agreement. If you did not list match leverage funding on your subgrant, you do not need to report match. Fiscal expenditure reporting training for HRTP WIOA 3.0 is provided virtually through a recorded training video. Links to resources and trainings can be found on the HRTP grantee portal and in the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to the HRTP inbox. The first expenditure report for the HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant is due May 20th, 2022, covering spending from April 1st through April 30th. While the CWDB does not ask for proof of payment with invoices, as mentioned previously, the awardee subrecipient is responsible for all applicable record retention and should keep such invoices for monitoring and auditing purposes. Project and fiscal records must be sufficient to allow federal, state, and local reviewers to evaluate the project's effectiveness and proper use of funds. The record retention system must include both original and summary data sources, and records must be retained for a period of 3 years from the date of final payment on the subgrant. For additional information on record retention, auditing, and links to applicable codes of federal regulation, please refer to the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide.
Key differences between WIOA grant program and existing HRTP programs. The next section will highlight differences in grant administration between federally funded and state-funded HRTP grants. The HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant is a subgrant agreement, not a contract. You've likely caught on that we have consistently referred to grantees as the awardee subrecipient throughout the presentation rather than a fiscal agent. Additionally, a subgrant agreement works by drawing funds down directly from the CalJobs system as opposed to submitting monthly invoices to the CWDB HRTP inbox. The drawdown process allows for an immediate start of the project aligned with the grant term. Compliance monitoring and audits are conducted by the EDD and/or the Department of Labor. The awardee subrecipient is responsible for understanding record retention rules and keeping meticulous records for monitoring purposes. The awardee subrecipient is responsible for having a single audit on file with the audit clearinghouse if you have received more than $750,000 in federal funding per year. This funding threshold includes all federal dollars your agency has received, not just HRTP 3.0 funds. Please keep this in mind if you are a recipient of Workforce Accelerator funds or other federal funding. It is the CWDB's expectation that the awardee subrecipient be prepared to research and implement all applicable WIOA rules and requirements. The CWDB can provide clarifying support, but the initial responsibility for understanding WIOA requirements lies on the awardee subrecipient. All awardee subrecipients should become familiar with EDD fiscal directives related to allowable costs, need for prior written approval, and rules on procurement of equipment and related services. Links to pertinent EDD directives can be found in the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide. Upcoming and what's next. We will highlight events and activities to keep an eye on in the coming weeks. Awardee subrecipients should anticipate receiving notification from the CWDB when their full subgrant agreements are executed. Awardee subrecipients are authorized to start work as of April 1st. In April, there will be a 2-day CalJobs participant training that should be attended by all staff who will be helping with CalJobs data entry. In May, there will be a data guide training and Q&A with Paige Musting from our Policy, Legislation, and Research branch. Awardee subrecipients will be notified of all upcoming trainings and events via the HRTP inbox email address. Tools and resources. There are several resources available to you on the HRTP portal. We encourage you to utilize the resources outlined in the following slides. One of the most important tools at your fingertips is the HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide. It has 2 distinct sections. Section 1 covers grant administration and Section 2 covers data collection. This guide will be available on the HRTP portal and should be read by all staff who are assisting with managing the HRTP WIOA 3.0 grant. The next tool we would like to highlight is the HRTP grantee portal itself. This private webpage houses the Grant Administration Guide, CalJobs resources, and general grant support resources. It is updated throughout the grant term as needed. Finally, we would like to point out ways to locate applicable EDD directives. The HRTP WIOA 3.0 Grant Administration Guide contains several links to pertinent EDD directives. The Grant Administration Guide does not provide an exhaustive list of EDD directives, and it is ultimately the awardee subrecipient's responsibility to be aware of active EDD directives and information notices and updates to existing directives. We would encourage awardee subrecipients to subscribe for EDD directive email alerts directly from the EDD website. Proof of participation. After viewing this orientation, please email the HRTP inbox a signed self-attestation form affirming you have viewed the orientation video. Attestation forms will be sent to everyone who signed up for the orientation through the SurveyMonkey that was sent at the beginning of March. If you have any questions, please email them to the HRTP inbox, hrtp@cwdb.ca.gov. www.sbocc.gov.